You're a world changer. You're an influencer. You're a purpose-driven powerhouse. And this episode is for you. And it's time to transform. It's time to up-level. It's time to power up your message. Before that, let's talk about the sponsor message, which is also a message, super important. If you are that person, which you are, and you want support, you want clarity, you want more accountability, you want more support, you want a better strategy, you want to know, how do I deliver my message to the best of my ability? How do I get unblocked, unstuck, uneffed? It just sounds better when you say the word. I could say it, I just didn't. Uneffed, unducked, but change the D to an F. And if you really, truly want to unleash, send me a message. I love working with world changers, people who are out to absolutely become their greatest possible self and help everyone around them do that same thing with their message, living their purpose-driven life, operating in their purpose-driven, mission-driven business. Chris at beyourgps.com. Come find me, send me a message. Love to talk to you, or find me on Facebook or some other social media platform. Would love to talk to you about your greatest possible self and how I can support you getting there. Chris at beyourgps.com or social media. Next up is going to be the iTunes review of the week. This week, it is by Miss Esperant. Esperant says, I appreciate everything that is expressed and conveyed when I listen to Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self with Chris Burns. It helps me to go a step forward together toward greater success and a path of enlightenment. Thank you so much, Esperant. I appreciate you. If you want to give us a review, go to beyourgps.com/iTunes or search Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self on the iTunes store and find us there. Thank you so much in advance for doing that and giving us your feedback, letting us know how we can best support you, encourage you, empower you, uplift you, and make the show even better. That's right. It's possible. We're going to get even better. So I'm going to share a little bit more about me and why I'm going to be diving into this. How to power up your message. Today's theme is master your message. So we're diving into this concept of master your message. Why? Because my business, it's interesting because my business, I have been all over the place, to the moon and back, to Mars and back, to Pluto and back. Is Pluto a planet anymore? No, I think it's a moon. Anyways, I've been all over the place with who I am, discovering who's Chris Burns. What is the Burn and Learn series? Burning Learning used to be called. I used to create these videos on Facebook. The Burn and Learn video series. What is the Popcorn program? What is the 21-day challenge? What is the mastermind? What is one-on-one coaching? What are all these things? What is Burn Up Coaching? What is Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self? What is the 12-hour marathon? What is the podcast? All these are different aspects of my journey and evolution into being where I am today. And I couldn't be here without taking one step at a time. And so the key to mastering your message is literally practice sharing it. Practice sharing it. Share it in person, real, live situations and scenarios, and work on it behind the scenes. Work on it on your own. Work in the business and in the message, so to speak. Be the channel of the message, as well as work on expanding the channel, improving the channel, focusing the channel of the message so it's more powerful, more congruent, more clear, more certain. If you're not practicing, if you're not literally getting up in front of the stage, if you're not literally getting on video and creating content, if you're not literally getting interviewed, your message may be pristine and perfect, but if nobody's hearing it, then what difference is it going to make? So I found that mastery comes from actually being on the court, on the field, playing in the game, versus being on the stands, on the sidelines. And that's one of the biggest things that I've learned in terms of mastering my message. Taking volunteer opportunities, speaking at different places, doing what I could with what I had. I may not have had the platform to speak in front of 10,000 people at once, but I have a platform to speak in front of one person, and that's valuable. So really, practice, work on the message, practice your craft. If it's important for you, whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you're a leader, whether you are an employee, whether you are just someone who wants to live a great life, leave a legacy, live your purpose, it's essential that you know who you are and you know how to communicate who you are. You know how to communicate with others. You know how to communicate with yourself. You know who you are, what your boundaries are, what you stand for and don't stand for. I stand for people getting their message out. I stand for people being heard. I stand for an empowered world. I stand for people focusing on the positive and the good and the things that are going well in the world versus the crap and the negativity. I don't stand for. I stand against negativity, pessimism, feeling stuck, overwhelmed, lost. I stand against people who are just complaining. I stand against people taking their talents and gifts and abilities for granted. I stand against lying, deceiving, manipulating. I stand against people not being given a chance who really want one. I stand against people playing small. I stand against people dying with regret. I stand against feeling less than, feeling not enough. These are just a couple of the different things that I've developed my stand for and against. And the more clear I get on these things and the more I share them, the more I vocalize them and verbalize them, the more I know who I am. I'm the type of guy. When I know who the type of guy I am, I know what I can trust myself to do and be, and I know what I can trust myself to not do and not be. And that's super important. When you want to impact the world, if you don't trust yourself, if you don't have a good relationship with yourself, if you don't love yourself, it's going to be difficult to show up. That stuff is going to get in the way. Hey Choi was talking today about her baggage, her trauma, her difficulties, her blocks got in the way. And with your animals, with your dogs, if your pets are a reflection of you, if you haven't worked on that stuff and improved your communication, improved your self-leadership, it's going to reflect in the relationship with your pet. And it's super important to do that work. So the purpose of Master Your Message today, and I talked a little bit about polarizing, be polarizing. Here's what I stand for. Here's what I don't stand for. That's polarizing. You want to say what you love and what you hate. You know, I hate working with people who just want to get paid. I love working with people who are purpose-driven, who have a mission, who are out to actually impact and change and transform the world. Understand what you love. Understand what you hate. Be able to verbalize and vocalize that. And don't be afraid of hurting people's feelings. You know, I stand for being healthy. I do not stand for being overweight. I don't stand for being lazy and making excuses and complaining. I stand against those things. I stand for being proud of me and my body image and loving myself, no matter how I look and how I don't. And I know that if I have something that's out of alignment, that's out of integrity with me, that's out of alignment with my greatest freaking possible self, my greatest possible self has abs, I'm going to work on that ish. Like right now, I'm like a fraction away of having abs. And I love myself because I've been really working hard on it. I've been working hard on eating better, feeding myself cleaner, better nutrition, cutting out the stimulants and not caffeine or coffee. That's, some of that is good, but the pre-workout and the stuff with like super heavy metals or things that can really impact my nervous system, I've been working on cutting out that stuff, disconnecting from it, so I don't need to rely on it. Anywho, mastering your message. I'm sharing this today because I've really recognized that one of my favorite things to do is to help people get their message out there, is to help people understand their purpose, really master their purpose, to expand their presence, to really be in the present moment with people, connected, joyous, full of bliss, full of excitement and love, as well as to expand and master their platform, to get their message out there to the world, to have a podcast, to have a show, to have something that's theirs. Because I know what it's done for me. I know how it's transformed my life to create this 12-hour marathon and have to show up here, because I choose it, every single Wednesday for 91 freaking marathons. And how much it's developed my messaging, how much it's developed how I communicate, how I relate to myself, how I show up. Oh my goodness gracious. The message of becoming your greatest possible self. I've talked about this multiple times on the show. The brand of becoming your greatest possible self is so freaking powerful. Whatever brand you create, whatever it is that you're living into the world, the business model, what you stand for, your message, that you become that thing. And that's why it's interesting for people who were CEOs of cigarette companies, CEOs of Coca-Cola or Pepsi, CEOs of McDonald's or Kentucky Fried Chicken, like, bless their hearts. And what were they actually doing for the world? What good or lack of good were they creating in the world? And so my brand is becoming your greatest possible self. And I associate myself with world changers and leaders who are becoming their greatest possible self and who are making a massive freaking impact in the world. And so how appropriate is it that I've really learned to communicate myself and my points and my point of view effectively, as well as others, and help them communicate themselves and their points of views effectively to be the most powerful, the most congruent, the most aligned and connected. So we're talking about master your message. Because if you're listening to this, you have gifts, you have wisdom, you have value to bring to the world. And I want you to succeed with that. I want you to be powerfully congruent. I want you to be so in alignment, so alive, so excited to be you every single day. And I was just on a podcast recently, and I like to talk a lot. I don't know if you noticed, but I love to talk a lot. And I noticed that one of my favorite things about being on a podcast interview is how much fun it is, how much I get to tap into my gifts and my abilities and my wisdom, how much I've picked up over the years, my experience, my ability to convey that to an audience, to inspire them, to move, touch, and inspire them, to have them rise into their greatness, rise into their empowerment, enthusiasm, and zest for life, becoming their greatest possible self. I love it. It is one of the most thrilling, empowering things that brings me joy in my life. And I was on this podcast and I said, like, me doing this 12-hour marathon, I am in total alignment with my purpose. I'm in total alignment. I love what I'm doing. I love learning from each of these guests. I love showcasing people, putting them in the spotlight. I love helping people get their message out there. I love the contribution that I'm able to make to people. Like, I am in total alignment. And the way it came out of my mouth, I was just like, that. I know that. I knew it. I am that. I am in total alignment. I am this being of transformation, this force of good in the world. And it landed for me in a new way, a different way than it ever had before. And even though there's some things that I would want to be different, I want to change, I want to upgrade, I want to improve about my business, about the way we do the 12-hour marathon, about how we impact and improve and empower people in their lives. Even though there's always things to upgrade and change and evolve, and that's one of my favorite things. I love, like, brainstorming ideas and this potential and what's possible. Even though that's the case, I love what I get to do. I love who I am. I love who I'm being. I love who I'm becoming. And that is a product of working on myself so freaking much. Thousands and thousands, if not tens of thousands of hours. Like, yeah, tens of thousands. In the last 7 years. Man, I'm just so grateful for who I am and what I stand for, and how my life is shaping and manifesting around me. But things weren't always this great. I came from struggling. I still have my struggles today, but I really came from a feeling of emptiness, powerlessness, valueless. I don't matter. I don't belong. Nobody understands me. Nobody loves me. I don't need love. I'm better than everyone else. That's what I thought. And now I know we're all just different. We have our different unique gifts and messages, and at the core, we're all the same. We're all from the same source, the same universe, same love. And I was just so proud of myself for recognizing what I've created in my life, for recognizing my ability to direct my life, to lead my life. I am the ultimate leader. As far as I'm concerned, I'm the ultimate leader in my life. There might be people who I admire their leadership and how they lead companies and how they change and transform people's lives and how they have reached millions of dollars, billions of dollars. That's great. It's awesome. And in my eyes, I'm the one who's leading this ship. I'm the one who says we're going north. I'm the one who says we're going towards becoming your greatest possible self. And then it's my leadership that executes that and fulfills on that vision. Without that, doesn't matter how awesome someone else is. If I'm not willing to take the steps, if I'm not willing to direct my own life, if I'm not willing to be accountable, then it doesn't matter. It's the same thing with you. You are the ultimate leader in your life. And you might call it's like you're the creator of your reality. I think I've gotten to a point where I'm kind of desensitized from that phrase, the creator of your reality. It sounds great. What does it actually mean? What does it actually mean to be the leader of your life? Well, to get your message out, to power up your message, you really have to own the power you have. Because your message is powerful when you internally experience your power. It's not about someone reflecting back to you saying you're freaking awesome, you've achieved so much, you're so brilliant, you're so genius, you're so wise, you've helped me, you've changed and transformed my life. That's all great. When you have the evidence that you are doing good things in the world and you're changing people's lives, awesome. Soak it in, embrace it, embody it. Yes, thank you. And at the end of the day, only you go to sleep with you. So it doesn't matter what other people think about you if at the end of the day you say, yeah, but I sucked. Yeah, but I didn't do enough. Yeah, but my bank account. Yeah, but my health. Yeah, but my relationship. Yeah, but my spirituality. Doesn't matter if that is in the way, if that is a deeper rooted discontentment, dissatisfaction, shame, guilt, negative emotion, negative belief about yourself. So you really have to own your power first. To power up your message, you have to own your power. You have to own your worth. You have to own the difference that you make in each and every person's life that you come across. One person at a time. You make a difference one person at a time. Are you aware of that? Do you own that power? Do you own that gift and that ability? Because there's a difference between saying it and actually owning it. And I have come to this point where I really am owning it and I'm stoked on it. It's like firing me the F up. Bonnie says, truth. What's up, Bonnie? I haven't seen you in a while, girl. Hope all is well. You're thriving, shining. So really it's like first you understand that you're the power source. You're the power center. Okay? It's the ultimate responsibility. It's up to you. The ultimate leader, the ultimate captain of your ship. So how are you going to lead yourself? How are you going to direct yourself? Okay? Remember that you have that power. Second, in terms of powering up your message, if you don't have a vision of your life to direct your message, because you have a message because there's a purpose behind the message, because the message will facilitate something. You don't speak just to speak. You don't speak just to have it go into the universe and never do anything, never change anything, never actually mean anything. You don't speak words, valueless words. Everything you say impacts something. There's consequences to every word, to every sentence, to even every thought that we have, there's consequences. A little bit less. Our words are way more powerful energetically in how they shift and transform matter and our time and space around us. Specifically, though, if you don't have a purpose, a vision, a place to get to, a direction, a guiding compass, a way to know if you're on track or off track, if you don't have that, then how will you know if your message is empowering, if it's powerful? If you speak a message and it goes to the right, let's say you say, this shall be, and it directs the ship, you're in the ocean, and it directs the ship to the right. If you say this shall not be, it directs the ship to the left. How do you know where you're supposed to go if you don't have a destination? How do you know if the words that you're speaking are helping you or hindering you? Are they building you up or breaking you down? Are they moving you forward or taking you back? So you really have to have a clear destination of what you want your life to look like. And that starts with saying, what do I want? What inspires me? What's an ideal day for me? What do I want the legacy of my life to be? These are questions that you can dig into. If you want more support with them, send me an email, chris@beyourgps.com. Send me an email. Would love to hear from you. What is your message? How are you powering up your message? Specifically, though, if you don't have power with your message, you're going to feel like you're spending all this time and energy. And guess what you're doing? You're spinning around in circles. You're going around in circles. You're lost at sea. You're adrift at sea. You're spinning in circles. You might be paddling really hard, but you don't have a rudder, and your rudder's not taking where you want to go. So you keep winding up in the same exact spot. You feel like nothing's making a difference. You feel exhausted, tired, overwhelmed. You're not growing in the business. You're not attracting the people that you want. There's still toxic relationships, toxic things, toxic habits. If you're still dealing with that stuff, then you haven't mastered your message and who you are, what you stand for, and why you're here on this planet. So really start to contemplate those questions and ask yourself, why am I here? What do I want to achieve? What's the difference that I want to make? What's the gifts and skills and abilities that I want to give to the world? And that will really start to power up your message. So number one is to get clear and have a deep knowingness, not intellectually knowing, but actually in your heart, in your soul, in your being, know how powerful you are, know how capable you are, know how much internal generation you're capable of to transform the world. That's number one. Number two is to get clear on the vision, on the destination, where you want to go with your life, with your purpose, with your message. How do you want to deliver the message in a way that gets you closer to where you want to go? Okay, and that's like starting with the end in mind, the vision, what kind of a life do you want to live, what kind of a lifestyle, what kind of relationships, what do the areas of your life look like, what does your spirituality look like, what is your health and relationships and wealth and business and career and finances and play and fun and who you're becoming. What does that look like? Bonnie says, all it takes is one person. I was thinking the same thing. Haven't seen you in a long time. Good to see you. Good to always see you. Need to stay in touch with you. Petya says, Mishko. Petya, tell us what Mishko means. So, power up your message starts with recognizing your power. 2, getting clear on the vision. And I mentioned in the beginning about how do you master your message? Well, mastering your message is a form of powering it up. And I gave you 2 really big freaking keys. Number 1 is to actually get out there and share it. Practically show up, create content, share your message, create videos, go to events, speak, network, teach people. If you have wisdom, if you have gifts, if you have something, gold, value to deliver the world, teach about it. That's what a lot of successful entrepreneurs are doing today, whether they are a coach or a consultant or an author or a speaker or a business owner. They're teaching, education, drawing out people's greatness. Education comes from the Latin word educo, which means to draw out from within. So how are you drawing out from within the greatness and the potential within the people around you? If you own a plumbing business, it's like you might say, I don't educate people. Like, what do I got to educate people on? Well, you educate them on how to treat their pipes well. You educate them on how to not spend an extra $1,000 the next time they pour coffee grinds or whatever pineapples down their drain, right? Whatever it is, then they use the grinder and the garbage disposal. So you get to educate people on how to live a better life. And there's no thing that's too small or too big that you can educate people on. Maybe you're a plumber and you've had some fulfillment educating these homeowners. And what would really make a difference for you is educating other plumbers. You could create a certification. You could create a program to really educate and empower, create a new standard, and be able to get that message that you're living for. Great plumbing, great home, fluid movement, whatever it is. And we're talking about plumbing here, but you might be a soccer coach. You want to teach other soccer coaches how to be great coaches. You might be a author about fitness, and you want to teach other fitness professionals how to be better teachers, better fitness professionals, better coaches. Whatever the area is, there's people who value what you know. And the more effective you are at delivering that information, the more concise, the more precise, the more effective you are. The more it lands, the more people get it, the more people transform their actions. They actually take new behaviors. They show up in a new mindset, a new paradigm because of you. That's powering up your message. And it comes from practicing it. It comes from working on it. It comes from designing it. Even sales is practicing your message. When someone gets into an appointment with you and you get to sell them, you get to show them the opportunity, you get to share with them where they might not be educated, where they might be stuck or stopped or blocked, and what's the pain it's costing them. That's sales. You get to educate them on the cost of inaction and the benefits of action and moving forward. And when you do that, that's your message. Sales is a message, delivering a message. If you suck at sales, you suck at delivering your message through sales. I'm just saying, I'm being freaking real with you. If you are not confident in selling and you're not effective and you're not making the sales that you want, then there's something about your sales process, aka the messaging of your sale. And the message might be asking the questions. Just because I say message doesn't mean you're projecting it out, right? You can ask a question that is a message that changes someone's life. A sales process is typically a series of questions that draws out people's needs and desires and what they are frustrated with, as well as the dreams and the solution and where they want to go, where they want to end up, and who they want to be. So ask yourself, are you achieving the results that you want? Are you, first of all, empowered inside of yourself? Have you recognized that you have total responsibility for your control, for your power? You are the ultimate leader. Nobody else is a better, bigger, more powerful leader than you. Even if they're leading 1 million people, they're not better than you. Because if they're better than you, then you're putting yourself underneath them and you're less than, and your leadership is less than. And when you compare yourself like that, you will see a detrimental effect in your ability to lead yourself and the people around you when you compare yourself to others. So you're the best leader for you. Own that. Number 2 is get clear on the vision and the destination, where you want to go, who you want to be with your message, how you want to impact the world. What's the life that you want to create, the communities that you want to impact? What are the gifts and abilities and skills and areas of life that you want to succeed and thrive in? Get clear on that, and then you can reverse engineer it. You can understand if, hey, did me saying ship go right, did that take me closer to the destination, or did commanding and leading the ship called my life or my company or my family or my community saying go left, did that move us closer to the destination? Did that move me closer to the destination? So understand the vision, be able to break it down into bite-sized steps. And then in terms of mastering your message, it's like you know the destination, you know what you're supposed to be saying. You can have the clarity. Am I getting closer or farther away? Am I on track or off track? And then it's about executing. It's about getting on the freaking field, getting in the court, and doing the damn thing. Showing up, serving, selling, educating, delivering your message, delivering your value through your process, through your magic, the way you deliver it. So, Bettia said, Mishko means mini cute mouse. Bonnie said, something to ask self, why are we here and what to accomplish in this life of ours? That's beautiful. Yes, Bonnie, that's absolutely 100% correct. Petya says, sharing our life and stories is so life-changing for us and others. Haha, how you treat your pipes well. I realize that my passion is, I'm going for it. Love it. Bonnie, I want to hear what your passion is. Share it. It's great to say on in the comments, what your passion is. And one of the ways to actually start activating that passion and living it and being it and impacting people because of it is share it publicly. When you're on a Facebook feed like this, putting it in the comments, other people will see it. It makes it even more real for you. You gain courage and pride in yourself and who you are. You gain clarity in trying to word it effectively, making an attempt at doing your best to word it effectively so it comes across in the best way to everyone else who's listening or watching or reading it. Petya says, that's amazing. Once we know what our passion is, it's so fulfilling. Petya said, no comparing. Feedback is so important. Seeing if we are getting closer or further. Petya said, we are so alike. We think so alike. When we share it, we declare it. Petya says, by the way, if y'all ain't following Petya Kolibova, you definitely need to do it. Her podcast used to be called Be Strong Minded. Now it's called Unapologetically Abundant, I believe. Confirm that for us, Petya. Let us know when the name change is going to take place and how we can find that. Let us know in the comments. And that's a new declaration for Petya. But it's like really... I love ease. I love peace. I love it when it's easy. I love it when it's easy. I love it when it's effortless. I love sharing. I love educating. I love talking about experiences. Petya says, love you, Chris Burns. Didn't change it yet. It's definitely going to happen. I love you too, Petya. Petya Kolibova. So, experiences, that's like one of my favorite things to talk about, because like when you get to talk about your life, when you get to recall your life in a way that empowers you, that's super important. So one of the most important parts of messaging, this is next topic, upgrade, up level, checkpoint. I'm gonna create a another side note. So I got some tangents that were going on, peeps. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so I want to talk about checkpoint. I'm just writing this down because this is always gold. Petya says, haha, you always make me grow. Yes, we do. We make each other grow, and we're dang good at it. So I was gonna say checkpoint. I was gonna talk about messaging. Oh, experiences. Okay, so checkpoint. I love gamifying things, and I'm excited to create more gamified elements in my life, like checkpoint, like that aspect of a checkpoint in a video game is so powerful. Like just get to the next checkpoint, get to the next thing, so we can save, so we can make sure we don't have to start all the way back at the beginning of the level, whatever it might be. It's really, really powerful. So back to the message. Katie Lasky's in the audience. What's up, superstar? I love you. You're a powerhouse, and I want to hear how your requests to these big, beautiful, awesome, epic shows has been going. I know you mentioned that you are in process of finding a way to message it effectively so that it fits with their audiences and their themes and stuff like that. So I'm excited to hear about that. And talking about experiences, how to power up your messages, it's super important as you learn to tell your story and share your message that you do it in a way that uplifts and empowers people. Obviously that's the intention, right? Oftentimes, what I've noticed with guests on our 12-hour marathon and just in general in life, people want to share the real stuff. There's this desire to be authentic, to be real, to let our guards down, and finally just like let our hair down and connect with people, right? And just be freaking real. And there's a fine balance between being real, saying what's it been like in the proper context, and going on a rant about how much things suck and how the glass is half empty and how life is difficult and how difficult it is to earn more money. And I have it on my phone, an affirmation. I'm so grateful. Perfect timing. I have fun earning even more money. I have so much fun earning even more money. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So one of my biggest challenges, connecting with people, seeing people, hearing their stories, they get stuck in the drudgery, they get stuck in the negativity, they get stuck in the pain and the overwhelm of where they were for so long that they associate with that identity so much they really become that person again, rather than remember it as wisdom, as experience, as a way to, as a mile marker, as a checkpoint in their life, and saying, wow, that's where I used to be. And, not go back there and embody that and be that person. But, when you're telling a story and you want to bring people back to that moment, do it. Do it powerfully, do it effectively, do it succinctly. Don't keep them there. That's one of the most powerful things about interviews. And if you're committed to creating an amazing brand that sticks in people's minds, don't leave them stuck in the shit. Okay? So be aware of your checkpoints. Be aware of how to frame what happened to you, your life, your journey, your experiences in a way that's empowering and uplifting. Here's an example. For a while, I had some challenges with money. I felt like I was really struggling with money, and it was difficult to create money. And then one day I remembered, wait, I can change my story about money. Let's start focusing on all the good that happened around money. Let's start focusing on all the things that have been working well with me. And I started reprogramming my narrative. So I might have had an automatic thought that said, there's not enough, I'm not enough, I can't actually do what I want, I'm not free, I'm trapped, I'm stuck, I'm in this box, there's no security, there's no certainty, blah, 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 right? At one point I might have said that. That might have been my dominant thinking, automatic thought, intention, and way of seeing the world. And then I said, wait, I want to reprogram this. I want to change my story. And this goes for money, it goes for health, wealth, relationships, whatever, right? I'll give some more examples, but specifically with money, I remembered, hey, I had a grandpa who was an entrepreneur. Not only that, but he was also a motivational speaker, a consultant, and a success coach. And he went into organizations and helped them become more successful and thrive and prosper. And I said, holy crap, what a fucking lineage. That is awesome. No wonder I'm doing what I am today. I was born to do this. I was born with this, ladies and gentlemen. When you could say I was born with this, I was gifted from birth. I don't know. Like when someone asks you why do you do something? How do you do something? I don't know. I've been doing it from birth. This is who I am, right? When you can have that kind of a response and that kind of an energy about who you are, your identity, rather than saying I'm a success coach, rather than saying I'm a coach for female entrepreneurs and I help them be successful, right? It's like there's no energy about that. But if you say, man, my parents, they brought me up to be a leader. I was born to be a leader. I was born to be self-responsible, be an empowered, independent human being who just absolutely rocks it, crushes it, succeeds. Michael David Huey, what's Gucci, man? Hope you're having the best day ever, brother. Sending you lots of love. Michael David Huey is an awesome dude. I created this narrative, or remembered this narrative, that my grandpa was a success coach and consultant, and I have this lineage. And not only that, but my parents, like from a super early age, like 8 years old probably, started teaching me about how to manage money. They started teaching me about how to manage a budget. They started teaching me about how to do my chores and earn a reward. The honest work, the investment of time and energy. Sometimes it sucked and sometimes it was fun and easy. It really just depended on the job. It depended on where I was at and what the chore was. And a lot of it was also my mindset. If I complained a lot, then it sucked. But if I didn't complain, then it was easy, and I could create an experience, a reality around myself that I enjoyed whatever work I was doing. So my parents taught me from a very young age to be financially responsible, and I grew through that. And in high school, saved up thousands of dollars, just working my butt off and being responsible, wanting to just be more than enough, have tons of abundance and prosperity around me. And then at a certain point, something switched in my journey, in my experience of reality. And temporarily, keyword there, temporarily, I didn't say, and then I became, right? Temporarily, I felt like I wasn't enough. And I had to go invest in experiences, go to parties, go to raves, travel, and like I wanted to experience more of the world. And I felt like where I was, and living in Chino in Southern California, in kind of like a not small town, but like kind of a suburb area, it wasn't enough. I felt like it wasn't enough. I felt like my life wasn't enough, and I wanted to go out there. I wanted to experience more, and I found that the best way to do that for me was through instant gratification, quick highs, going out to parties and raves and all kinds of stuff. And it was cool. Those were really great experiences. And my relationship about what it takes to have fun and enjoy life became a lot more externally dependent, externally driven, rather than internal happiness, right? Even with video games, though, I was externally focused. But I had a lot more discipline with video games because I wasn't going to go buy a new video game every day. Just wasn't my reality, wasn't my relationship with video games. I would buy one, then I'd play it for a couple weeks or something, or a couple months, or even sometimes a couple years, depending on the video game. But when it came to experiences, there was always the next experience, and there's always something else to do. And it was so easy to just burn through money, number one. And then after that, I ended up hitting a rock bottom moment in my life, feeling, emotionally bankrupt. I don't think I was financially bankrupt at that point, but I was emotionally bankrupt. I've never been bankrupt, but you know what I mean. Financially, I wasn't struggling, but emotionally, I was like, okay, this isn't working. And I came to this recognition that I needed to invest in myself to grow, to be worthy, to be a good human being. I felt like I really screwed up. I felt like I really went off the track. I felt like I really was not deserving to live unless I made amends, unless I repented for my sins, unless I became someone else, I just wasn't happy or fulfilled or proud of who I was. So I started investing tens of thousands of dollars into these courses and programs, and hiring coaches and seminars and personal development, all of these kinds of things, externally hoping that something would change the way I felt about myself, feeling empty, feeling like a disappointment, feeling like I couldn't trust myself, feeling like I was unworthy, right? And then, I don't know, I'm still discovering it today, but especially a year, 2 years ago, I really started to see the worth in myself, the worth in just being me, the worth in Chris Burns and who I am and what I bring to the table. And to be able to stand up for that, and be able to fight for that, and be able to believe that. Not fight because I have to prove something, but fight for it because that's who I am. I'm a burning fire of creation, and of manifestation, of mastery, of building things, of strategizing, of solving problems, of making magic happen in reality, right? And just a little bit ago, I really remembered that there was this story that abundance had always been around me. I'd always been prosperous. I'd always been successful. I'd always been well taken care of. The universe guided me. I was given the principles. I was given the foundation. I was given exactly what I needed to succeed beyond my wildest dreams. Massive success, massive emotional success, massive financial success, massive relational success, massive health success, massive spiritual success. I was given everything I could possibly ask for. My parents are the most amazing human beings in the world. And some people get a different draw when it comes to their parents, and there's different lessons that they get to learn. I'm so grateful for my parents, for what they provided, what they taught me, how they empowered me. And even God, like Michael's saying. From the very beginning, God gifted me with these abilities, with this power, with this destiny, with this ability to impact and transform and inspire people's lives. Influence, real influence. Michael has a group called He-fluence, because He is definitely influencing us all the time. God, and the universe, and our source, and our creator. It's incredible. When I recognized that my narrative was keeping me stuck, the message that I was telling myself was keeping me stuck, I was able to shift it. I was able to create a new focus, a new storyline. My storyline was that I was broke and I was powerless and life sucked and I didn't deserve the woman of my dreams and I wasn't a good friend and all these things. And then I created a new storyline that I was always an amazing son. I was always an amazing human being. I was always abundant and prosperous and had more than enough, had everything that I need. I was disciplined. I was athletic. I was gifted. I was brilliant. I was genius. I was smart. I got things. I picked them up quickly. I was creative. I was curious. I was playful, artistic, all of it. I've always been those things. And I get to recognize and celebrate that even more from now on moving forward. And of course, there's going to be blind spots that I may not be 100% aware of today, or may not know 100% how to deal with today and respond to today powerfully with total alignment and congruence. And as time goes on, I'll be able to apply new strategies, show up and remember who I have been all along, remind myself, remember my abundance, remember my prosperity, remember my success, remember my giftedness, remember my brilliance, remember my genius. That's a powerful command. Nigel Henry's probably going to talk about it today. He mentioned it in a call that we had, talking about one of the most powerful commands you can give your subconscious and your mind and your soul and yourself is remember. Remember. It's not so much about upgrading and up-leveling and evolving. It's about remembering how powerful you are, remembering how all these gifts that you've had your entire life. Remember them, tap into them, own your inventory that you already have, you've always had. And really, it's a story. It's like, what's the meaning that you give your life? Resilience. Maybe you felt like you were stuck and you're complaining, you're being victim for a long time. And then you remembered, wait, from the beginning, I've been resilient. I learned how to walk. I learned how to ride a bike. I kept getting up after I had difficult times with my family, with a spouse, with emotional, physical, verbal abuse, whatever it might be. Remember. I remember how strong I am. I remember how resourceful I am. I remember how infinitely capable I am. I remember that I have a message that's worthy and that the world is going to freaking hear, that the world is hearing because of my existence. I remember that the world is hearing my message because I said so. Bonnie says self-love. I remember self-love. I remember to love myself first, to fill myself up with more than enough. I remember. So what do you remember? What about your journey, your life? Can you remember to power up your message? I remember that I was always solving problems. So solving business owners' challenges, it's like eating them for breakfast. I was always amazing at math. I was always amazing at science. So being able to construct plans and help business owners execute on them, people around me execute them, easy peasy. I do it in my sleep. I remember I was always this wild and free and self-expressed kid. So, of course, today, I'm wild and free. I'm bold. I'm unapologetically me. I stand in my power. I stand in my gifts. I declare who I am to the world. I remember I was this daredevil who would go off jumps, who would do backflips off of walls, front flips on trampolines, dive into pools, run as fast as I could, as fast as the wind, ride bikes, go over whoop-de-doos, go 60, 70 miles an hour on a dirt bike. I remember that's who I am. I remember that's the courageous mofo that I am. I'm the audacious champion. I remember I'm this cute, handsome little boy. I've always been the sexy. It's so funny. Like, little kids, are they sexy? I've always been the charming, witty, funny, sexy, handsome, fit, athletic man that I am. I've always been resourceful. I remember my resourcefulness. I remember my unstoppability. I remember how much I followed through on what I said I would do. I remember if I set my mind to something in a video game, I would fucking play the daylights out of that thing. I would play and play and play and play and play 12, 15, 18, 20, 22, 24 hours straight. You know, sometimes I would literally just like be in it. Because I had my mind on the prize, eyes on the prize. My mind was mission driven. It would do whatever it take. I remember that's who I am. That's who I am today. And it applies today. I remember that I'm the guy who does whatever it takes. I remember that I'm the guy who figures out a way. I remember that when I want something bad enough, I will move heaven and earth to make it happen. And life always delivered what I wanted or something even better. I remember that life always delivered what I wanted or something even better. I remember that I was constantly being guided. I remember that I was constantly had angels and protection and the most divine support to get to where I am today. I was never alone. I was always supported. I always had energy and God and source and family and people around me who believed in me, who wanted me to win and wanted me to succeed and wanted me to be happy. I've always had that. I remember that. I remember that I was never lost. I may have thought I was, but I was really just remembering myself. I was remembering what it was like after going through all these years. You know, that's really what it is. After going through all these years of school and public education, I love it. I'm grateful for it. There's a lot of things that work great about it, and there's a lot of things that don't work so great about it. And I went through this process of remembering what it means to be a fucking human being. I had to remember because I bought into the story, I bought into the paradigm, I bought into the societal vision of what everyone's supposed to do. And I remember that's not what I'm here to do. I remember that I am a maverick. I am a pioneer. I am an ace. I do things my way. And of course, I love learning. I remember that I love learning. I love being curious. I love being humble, being a student, being a learner, being a grower, being someone who always was open to growth. And I remember that I grew through anything. No matter what came my way, what challenge, what difficulty, what obstacle, I grew through it. I grew from it. And I remember that. I love speaking into existence. Speak your message into existence. Speak your life, your creation into existence. I just went on a freaking rampage, a remembrance rampage of who I am and what I stand for and what I'm capable of. Remember how powerful you are. Close your eyes and experience that, remembering how powerful you are, remembering you've always been resourceful and brilliant, remembering you've always been bold and audacious and a kid that was supported and guided and abundant and everything was always there when you need it. Remember that you were able to create masterpieces. You were able to take nothing and turn it into a brilliant masterpiece, a finished product. Remember that you could experience magic and wonder and miracles and create kingdoms and fairy tales in the blink of an eye. You could shift your perspective. Remember that you've always been able to shift your perspective in the blink of an eye. Remember that you've always been able to transmute your tears of joy and your suffering into joy, tears of pain and suffering into joy, into pleasure, into growth, into laughter. Remember those times where you'd fall and scrape your knee and then your mom would, or dad or someone would come along and get you to laugh and tickle you, and instantly the pain would be gone. Whatever suffering you've been going through, whatever challenge, whatever obstacle, you literally have the power to transmute that instantly, to create a completely different perspective and reality and meaning. Remember that you've had that always, all along. Remember how much you are awake. Remember how awake you've always been, how present you've always been. Remember that you've always been the creator of your reality. You're so powerful. Remember that if you see a desire, you can create it. You can achieve it. Remember that you have that capacity within you. Remember, if you see a hero of yours, a celebrity, someone who you admire or inspires you, you have the ability to ask them for anything you want. Anything. There's no ask that's too big. They can always say no because they have their own personal freedom. And remember, you can ask for anything.